I don't know if you guys heard this, but let me ask you, has anyone heard of Terrace House? It's a show on Netflix.
Terrence House?
Terrace
House.
Terrace House.
Oh, like a terrace.
Oh, okay.
No, I haven't.
All right. So
I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
All right. Let me explain it. In my day, we had this thing called the Real World.
Oh, yeah.
And that was...
And Road Rules?
No, fuck Road Rules. That's where I'm getting at. The Real World was the first kind of MTV launch where they just put like the same number of girls and guys in the same house.
Yes.
No script.
Yes.
No stupid games. They didn't have to get jobs. They just got drunk and it was drama and it was awesome. Then they started adding all these stupid little, you got to get a job and you got to do this and that and do this challenge. Then it got all stupid. Anyway, Terrace House is the Japanese version of the first Real World, like the actual Real World, right?
Okay.
Like no jobs, no scripts.
It's just like watching strangers interact with each other.
Exactly. So Terrace House, and is on Netflix. They may have already taken it off.
They took it off because of this story?
They didn't say that, but they kind of blame COVID, stuff like that. This was 2020, so right when it happened. This story and COVID kind of happened at the same time.
Okay.
So, but the show is off air. It is a Japanese show, but it is subtitled. The reason I'm saying that is because that is the story tonight, like has that involved. So if you know what I'm talking about, then you know the story.
And this one is going to be for Taylor. Thank you, Taylor, Taco Supremo, for having joined us. This one's for you. Jen picked this one out for you.
I did. I don't know if we've done it before, but whatever. Surprise shots. Surprise shots. We don't know what they are because they're a surprise.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That was good.
That was delightful. I just went down the wrong tube when I swallowed. Was that the pineapple cream in Malibu?
It was.
That I feel like I should just go put on my bathing suit and sit outside, except it's cloudy today. But that's
I'm just like, it's definitely spring coming up soon. I went outside yesterday and it just smelled like spring.
Pollen's everywhere.
All right. Are you guys ready to get started?
Yes.
Tonight we are going to Japan, apartment unknown, as you'll see why, because I'll just tell you why. The mother is doing her best to suppress a lot of information that's coming out about her child's death, but we are going to her apartment. And can you describe what this lady looks like here? And if you guys on live chat, I'll put this on talkmore.com too.
Is she a professional wrestler?
There you go. Called it right off the bat. So has anyone seen her before? This is a tragic story and it is very sad. I'm not going to lie. Look at her picture. Let me get a better picture of her face.
I mean, she looks very young, maybe 18.
Here's a better picture right here. So she is a professional wrestler. I don't really know what that means in Japan, honestly.
I don't know what it means in America, honestly.
Can you describe her?
Blonde hair.
Japanese. Very good, Jen.
It's like her hair is cropped into a bob. I mean, she looks like she's having a great time doing what she's doing. Fit, muscular.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, maybe I should take up wrestling or wrestling down here. Y'all have wrestling up there and we have wrestling.
I also feel like those are two very different things.
All right. So we are going to May 23rd, 2020. The event that we're talking about actually happened.
Is John and Nicole's anniversary wedding.
He said May 23rd? Wow.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to get that. Yeah.
Good. Great, John. I'm sure that's why you picked the story.
Yeah. Yeah. So, in my notes here, this is also our anniversary or our wedding day. So it says right here, May 20. It says, don't forget to mention
for brownie points later
that this is the day you got married here.
Good for you.
It says it right here.
Got it.
In the notes.
Okay.
Neighbors go up to the door because they smelled something coming out of the hall. And there was a note taped to the door of her apartment that said the following quote, and it was in Japanese, but it's been translated, quote, toxic gas being generated. That was one of the notes. So what do you think? This is her apartment, Hana Kimura's apartment, and it said toxic gas. This is her right here being emanated. All right. There was also another note that said the following, and we'll get into the full note, but because it was a rather long note, but in summary, it said it was to her mother and it said, thank you for giving birth to me, Mom. I wanted to be loved in life. And then at the very last last line, it says, I love you. Please live a long and joyful life. I'm sorry. And on Twitter, she had written the following. So she killed herself, obviously, right?
Well, that's what one would believe.
Was it typed or in her handwriting?
Well, it was in her handwriting, but one was on Twitter. She actually said on Twitter, as you see, it says, the following media includes potentially sensitive content. So we're on Hana Kimura's Twitter page right now. So this is the last tweet she's posted on here. This was right before she committed suicide.
Aww.
And it's in Japanese, but she says something about, goodbye to my cat. I mean, the cat is fine, but, and I'll tell you why.
That's really sad.
So this was posted May 20th. This is my music. It is warm. My family, my favorite people. I had a dream filled with happiness up until now and happiness in the future. I was happy anyway. She committed suicide on the 22nd of 23rd, that night.
So she was a contestant on this show before her wrestling career?
No, this was during. So she's 21 right now, or she was 21 when she died. Kimura's final post on Instagram, possibly her final words to her beloved cat, said, I love you. Please live a long and joyful life. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
And her Insta story read Sayonara, which means goodbye, obviously. And then other wrestlers were trying to get her not to do anything stupid when she said that. So this is like following that.
I wonder how long it takes people in Asian cultures that use that style of writing to write their letters out. Like, they're so intricate. I'm not trying to be like facetious or anything. Like, it's so...
I don't know how the keyboards work either.
Well, the keyboards, I imagine it's the same as us typing, but I feel like our letters are not as ornate.
You can, cursive definitely cuts down time. Can't really do that. Characters.
No.
All right, check this out. Can you read this headline from the Mirror?
Hana Kimura's heartbreaking final messages before her death, aged 22.
All right, so one of her final messages, and this is on her Instagram page, it says, quote, I don't want to be a human anymore. It was a life I wanted to be loved. Thank you, everyone. I love you. Bye-bye. So she killed herself. The question is, like, why? Why would she do that? She has a great career. She's famous. Why would she do that? She was a housemate on Terrace house, and there was one specific incident which made her kill herself. For you podcast listeners, I'll put the video on talkmurder.com. For you guys on YouTube, we're not going to translate it. Just read the damn subtitles. It is actually really interesting. Like, I do want to watch the show. I'm not going to lie, because it reminds me so much of Real World. I will say right quick that the premise of Terrace House, like I said, there's no script, no jobs, no competitions. The editors have to filter through hundreds and hundreds of hours of just nothingness to find little gems. So each episode has a whole story behind it. Like, oh, today they get into this or that. So each episode, there may be like a hero and an antagonist, but it's manufactured through the editors, right? Mm-hmm. So they pick out different parts, put them together, and they make a story, which is really impressive, filtering through all those hours and putting a story together out of nothing. But in this particular episode, they made, as you'll see, she would be the antagonist, and this is the root cause of what she did, how she killed herself.
Are these guys all like kind of famous celebrities or like kind of minor celebrities already?
Yeah, that's a good point. So most of them are pseudo celebrities. Like, she is I would say, she's a celebrity, but she's not like,
yeah, she's not like famous.
Exactly.
But yeah,
they're in this house as well. I think at this season there was a professional, what do you call them, like BMXer and people like that, like athletes like that,
okay,
skateboarders and stuff like that, professionals, semi-famous. Yeah. Hannah comes down, and Vivi, which is the blonde girl, and they're all roommates. Vivi is the kind of the mother taker, the caretaker, not caretaker, but she's very compassionate. So she tries to bring everyone together.
Yeah.
And you can see that, which is kind of heartbreaking too. But Hannah comes down, she sits down, and something's obviously wrong. So Vivi asks, what's wrong? What's going on? And then she immediately looks at the one guy, I believe his name is Kai or something, and asks him if he did laundry recently.
洗濯回すときにさ、洗濯機に洗濯物入ってたっしょ。
and if he just threw his laundry in there without noticing that her laundry was in there, he just threw it on top of it. It's just laundry. Who gives a shit, right? And a guy, like, dude, I would be the type of guy that probably accidentally throw my shit in on top of yours. But as you see what she just said,
He ruined her clothes.
he ruined not only her clothes, but
Her wrestling
a
costumes.
wrestling costume, which, as you'll see, was actually very sentimental. It was not just the one she's wearing, but it's also very sentimental to her. So she says, there's no way I can wear them. They're too short on me. They're ruined. And then the other guy, he just, I think is worse because he doesn't say anything. He's just,
I mean, I'm sure he feels bad. He's probably mortified.
yeah, he's kind of like how when you feel bad, you just don't say anything, you kind of freeze up. It's the same thing. I know he feels bad, but she doesn't.
He doesn't know what to say.
Yeah, so she doesn't perceive it that way. Like, that's the guy who did it. He says sorry. So he's just sitting there. And you see Vivi, the blonde girl, she's trying to mitigate the situation or try to, make this better. But it's just making her boil because he's not saying anything. So real quick, what do you guys think? Like, why would she kill herself over this? Like, it's just her wrestling costume.
Well,
Was she hated in the media because of how she reacted?
I will tell you how she killed herself, and it's not public, but a wrestling one of her contacts kind of leaked it. She gassed her apartment, yeah, but the reason the cat is alive is because she gassed it with a plastic bag over her head. Which, going back, who brought up that good comment, Daniel, about
The
dishonoring
Yeah.
and killing yourself? That's actually really fascinating. You think that you said that. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, that's how she did it. Do you think she's acting too like aggressive and mean?
I don't know. I mean, I see where she's coming from. Like, she's upset. She doesn't want to talk to anyone right now. And sometimes when, you have people that, like, sometimes when you're upset, you go to and you tell someone about it, like, it's like when they give you advice and it's like you don't want advice, you kind of just want to get it off your chest and sit with it. So I don't think she's overreacting. I just think that she's not reacting the way that other people in the situation may expect her to react.
What about you guys on live chat? And also, not only that question, you're watching this, like, not on here, but as your favorite Netflix show, because this was Netflix Japan. Everyone's watching it. This is like real life. Like, how would you react?
Wolfie says she'd be far more explosive.
When the real world came out, they didn't have Twitter and stuff. Social media, you can touch people instantly. You know what I'm saying? People could reach out to her instantly if they wanted to and tell her how, she reacted, whatever.
And I think for her, like she said, like, it's not just about the laundry. It's not just about the fact that she has to replace the costumes. It's not about the money. It's the memories that she had in those costumes. And, so she's upset. It's not, and even if she were to get the same costume redone, like, even if she didn't have to pay, it's not the one that she wore to.
Yeah, the costume was actually the first one that she wore to the big Tokyo, basically the Olympics of her wrestling.
Right.
Like, she made to the Tokyo Dome, and that was the costume that she wore. And not only that, but her mother, and she was 44 at the time, her mother went into retirement as a professional wrestler during that match, fighting her daughter. Wrestling's it's not
family
fake. I mean, it's fake, but it's
wrestling
scripted.
Is real, but the stories are written.
Yeah, so the whole premise of it was mama-daughter fight, and daughter defeats mama, and then mama goes into retirement. Mama and daughter here, extremely close.
Yeah.
She got her into wrestling, and this is all, and she was the best. She has this passion. I'll show you, like, her wrestling and stuff on videos, plenty of videos, but she has this passion, like, brought up from a childhood, and then fights her own mother in the Tokyo Dome, wearing this costume. Is very sentimental, so it's now fucking ruined forever.
See, like, and that's kind of, I guess, the difference between my personal opinion and hers, I guess, at the time. Like, if that happened and the costume was so sentimental to you, like, I kind of would have had it framed, like how some people like athletes have their jerseys framed from certain games and appearances. Like, I wouldn't have worn it again. I might have gotten the same exact replica one, but for that specific match, I would have.
That's a good point. Also, keep in mind, like, I don't think these people have much money, because they did bring up that it costs $1,000.
Yeah.
So it seems like, I mean, that is a lot of money to pay for a costume. Yeah, but that's a good point. But
so I think it's a circumstance. So if I know Austin was saying, I just want to know because I feel like there's more going on.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be
more. And that's the hot sauce, right?
Yep.
Okay.
You're just fucking drinking hot sauce now? What the fuck?
I feel so. I think think if someone was not going through some other sort of struggle, it wouldn't, eventually you would be super upset, but you'd get over it because at the end of the day, it's only clothes, right? And so I think that for her, Shreya made this point, it's probably like her last lifeline. Like it just put her over the edge for something that she was already like really upset about.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That, and I mean, so this is real. The beauty about this show is everything is unscripted. So these reactions are real. Everything you see is 100% real, like no scripts, whatever. So how he's acting right now, he does not look like he's upset, but that's probably just how he's processing it. He says he's sorry a lot, but he just doesn't say anything.
He doesn't know what
it's kind of like an oh fuck, like what, like how do you make someone feel better about that situation? Like you fucked up, like I fucked up, like what do I like?
But she's taking it a different way.
Right.
Why haven't you said a word, Vivi? Oh no.
I kind of want to know what happened in Kyoto now.
Yeah.
Well, we got to watch the whole season. Vivi's so sad. Like it breaks my heart with Vivi.
Daniel says his mama didn't raise him right.
See, that's the same way you process things. So that's how I know. Like some people, they're really sorry. They just freeze up and they don't say anything. But everyone else is like, what the fuck? Do you not care?
Yeah.
You know?
Saying more things can cause more trouble.
That's true.
If you say the wrong thing.
But in this case, if he's not saying anything, it's making it worse. So as you'll see, it gets a little more explosive.
Oh, he's supposed to be a comedian?
Yeah. So at this point, she is pretty much going down on him and, letting him have it, like putting him at a pretty low level.
Yeah.
So think about yourself if you're watching this, like
I
as
would
a
already
viewer,
feel terrible.
No, as a viewer, how would that make you feel as a viewer of the show?
Well, that's where you kind of get into perspective. Like, look, I know it's clothes, but it wasn't on purpose.
Yeah.
And
so she should not be doing this.
Not that she shouldn't be doing this. People can react the same way, in whatever way they want to. But I think fucking perspective is everything in life.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is. And it's like you can see how upset she is. And I get it, especially if they have had past run-ins. And like she said, like, you don't do anything and you just do blah, blah, blah. So it seems like he doesn't care, but it's almost from his side. It's like, what can I saying anything is not going to change what happened. Like you can't go back and undo the laundry or make, you can't fix it. So what could he say to
nothing?
Yeah. You can't.
Yeah. So it's like, what I'm trying to say is like, we're actually getting kind of pissed at her now. She's berating this guy for no reason.
Or perceptively.
Oh, Vivi, that's sad. Don't you want to watch this show though?
Kind of.
Honestly, no.
I know, right?
No, I don't.
I'm invested.
All right, check this out. This is
in her side.
Hold on, check this out. And then she walks off. So that is the reason she killed herself right there. This clip, right?
Because people reacted adversely to her reaction.
Yes. So like I said, in the beautiful age of social media, you can reach out instantly and touch anybody, any celebrity.
In a good way or a bad way.
In a good way or bad way. And the way the show is set up, and this is on purpose because this is how you create stories. You can't have a story unless you have like a bad guy and like a hero.
Right.
That's kind of, what's that guy's name? Joseph Campbell, like his whole hero's journey shit. So they actually look every episode for a hero and an antagonist in the story. And she happens to be in this one, the villain of the story. And that's how they made her out to be for this episode. A lot of viewers took to social media and instantly started berating her. And I'll read some of the tweets that they sent. Pretty bad, actually. What do you guys think?
Just another reason why I'm so glad that I don't have any social media accounts, honestly.
Well, I mean, and also from her perspective too, especially with professional wrestling, your costume is your identity. Like there are some wrestlers I feel like that go out there and wear different like pairs of leggings or whatever, but you have an iconic look.
Yeah.
So for that,
it'd have to be specially made anyway. So I can see, I mean, the cost definitely sucks.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that, so the cause or the trigger wasn't necessarily the laundry event. It was how people reacted to her reaction.
Yes, exactly. And some people sent some very hateful messages. Now, this is from Nikia Asia. I'm just going to read this. Quote, the police who have been examining the social media posts since Kimura's death found around 1,200 messages posted by around 600 accounts directed at her. They opened an official investigation by filed and the family filed a criminal complaint in late November. Out of those 600 accounts, one man in particular left 300 hateful messages, 300 hateful messages from, quote, around 200 other accounts. So one man who they went after for berating, so he would say stuff like, why are you still alive? Here's one. It says, quote, and she deleted all these, but they got through Twitter and brought them back. Quote, is there any value to your life? Hey, when are you going to die? End quote. So this guy made 200 social media accounts. She would ban him. He'd make another one. She would ban him. He would make another one. 200 from one guy. 200 accounts. Over 300 hateful messages, all saying, when are you going to die? And stuff of that nature.
Wow. That is so fucking shameful. I can't even.
Yeah.
I hope he got some fucking serious prison time.
I mean, that is fucking terrible, is it not?
Like, who the fuck are you, troll? You know what I mean? Like, why? She's upset about laundry. What gives you the right to be so upset about her reaction? You know what I mean? Like, who the fuck cares about how, like, she can react however she wants to react. It's her business, not yours.
Like, you don't like the way she reacted, so stop watching the show.
Right.
Like, ooh.
But that's the point of the show, to get people riled up. That's the point of it. That's what keeps people watching and watching. That's why you watch Jersey Shore. It's like, oh my God, who is Snooky? Who is Snooky? Who is Snooky screwing? You know, today, Jersey Mike.
The Situation is his name.
What's his? Oh yeah. What? No. All right.
Mike, The Situation.
Okay. Anyway. The whole point is to kind of make people, display those emotions. So they'll keep watching. They're invested, right? I mean,
I'm sorry. People should not be that invested into anything.
The man was formally charged. And let me see what you guys are. This is pretty fucking bad, isn't it? Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I know there's not a lot to this story. Her mother has kept a lot of things private. And her last message was, quote, I lived as someone who was loved. Thanks, everyone. I love you. Bye-bye. And then she puts a bag over her head, attaches a tube, gasses herself in the apartment, which is a common method in Japan because they all live in these little apartments. So it is common to kill yourself in that fashion. And that's what she did.
It's almost eerily similar to the Michelle Carter and Conrad Roy.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing. Yeah. So this is important, guys, because Michelle Carter, that was what, 2015? And that was the first big one in America. Yeah, there's been cyberbullying, but that was the first one. This in 2020 is the first Michelle Carter over there. It's the first time Japan has ever had to say, okay, we need to do something about cyberbullying. Like that, we need to do something, because
but like, even down to like the method, like he gassed himself in the car and she gassed herself.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
I was chatting with
really eerie actually that you said that.
Colleague. So like this whole, bullying nowadays, I know you must see it all the time with the age of the kids at your school, Jen. But so I was chatting with a colleague whose daughter is having a really hard time at a school not far from where you are, Jen. And the boys are bullying her. It's to the point where they have to pull her out of school. It's so bad. And try to put her into a different school.
Jesus Christ.
They were like barking at her, like up to her ear. I don't know. It just like became this thing. And just like it's a societal thing. I feel like we're like trolling and like it's just and bullying in person. And we were talking about this yesterday too with the whole age and defiance thing. Like people don't give a fuck with how they make other people feel anymore.
Yeah, I know. So there's this thing. Okay, there's this thing out there. I don't know what it's called. It's some psychology thing. But if you think someone's a celebrity or they're on the internet, it's fair game. It's kind of like fair game, and that is true. I mean, dude, we kind of went through some shit like that, and we got off of fucking social media because it always, if you get a lot of people, no matter what the fuck it is, a little issue or big issue, it will always go to, well, why don't you kill yourself? It always goes there, even if it's the stupidest fucking thing. So, and not only that, we need social validation to literally live. That's a need of life. You know what I'm saying? So if we lose that quickly and everyone's against us, it seems like, okay, well, I guess everyone wants me to kill myself, boom.
And yeah, it's like spiraled out of control.
I know.
Whole, like, you'll do anything for a like, you'll do anything anything for a follow, and that it brings you the social validation, just like an unfollow or a mean message. It will just tear you the fuck down.
Yeah, I know, man. And people say whatever, man. Holy shit.
They will say whatever.
They will say what
you
the fuck
can't.
ever,
That's why, I
like even to us, like people say some terrible shit.
Of course, I know that they do, and you know what? I ain't wasting my energy and going to make myself feel bad for somebody else's opinion of me. I have a pretty good fucking opinion of me, and that's what fucking matters.
So luckily for us all, Japan actually took a stance and they said, all right, we can't have this. This one guy made over 200 accounts, 300 hateful messages telling her to kill herself. Like, what would you sentence this guy to if this was like the first case in Japan, which it is?
If it's the first case, I think they're going to make an example out of him.
Right. I would at least have, whatever the sentence is, like for harassment, and
could be manslaughter.
Yeah, it could be manslaughter.
So they finally, after months and months, the family finally got closure. They did bring justice to her, and they charged this guy for cyberbullying in Japan. And if you want to read the headline here.
Japanese man was charged $81 for cyberbullying star Hana Kimura before her death.
That is almost like a fuck you.
That is a huge fuck you. That's less than, that's worth a sleeve of what her ruined wrestling outfit would have cost.
The Osaka...
I can't. What?
I mean, what's the fucking point? Are you kidding me?
Why even bother charging him then? Oh, hey man, you said some things which led to this girl's death.
I mean, the amount of money spent on the case was probably hundreds of thousands of dollars.
That's less than a good pair of shoes.
Yeah. Wow.
Here's the
Austin goes, Japan is like Canada. OMG. Shram said too. What is this, Canada? There you go.
So from the Washington Post, Japanese star Hana Kimura likely took her own life after relentless trolling. One man who targeted her was just fined $81. Holy shit.
Fine.
I mean, that's 1 month of his fucking internet bills for trolling this person.
That's pretty shameful for Japan. They should have let him go free, because that is actually worse.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That is basically telling the mother.
Because you're saying, instead of just letting him go, oh, we can't, it's like almost too new of a crime to actually have lay of the land. Instead, you're saying, oh, he is being punished for this. And his punishment is a whole $81 so he can take cash money out of his pocket.
Jesus Christ. Would you like to pay with a check or a credit card, sir?
For someone's life.
No jail time or nothing. Jesus Christ.
If you want, you can go do some Task Rabbits for like 3 hours, and that should cover it. Or, hey, can you go get this DoorDash order? You might have to do 3 of them, but that should be enough for you to cover that.
Wow.
He said he wanted to, quote, get back at Kimura.
For what?
Following that episode I showed you.
What? I'm sorry. What did she do to personally victimize you? And what did you do to personally victimize her? Oh yeah, you made her fucking kill herself.
That's less than Regina George got.
Yeah.
Regina George got hit by a bus.
She did.
And this guy paid $81.
He would say stuff like, quote, when will you die? And it's terrible. Jesus Christ.
Is his name released?
Why would you care?
Man? No, we're not gonna stick
no,
to
I'm
his
curious
level.
I'm curious if his name is out there, because I think I just am shocked. I'm beyond shocked. And I'm curious if he's getting a taste of his own medicine, actually.
Probably not.
In getting trolled.
All right, so just to recap, early in the morning, May 23rd, 2020, Kimura posted her self-harm images on Twitter, Instagram, and she also posted some of the hateful messages, but she deleted them. The cause of her death came out by a wrestling correspondent, Dave Meltzer, that she died of hydrogen sulfide ingestion. So hydrogen sulfide in a tube goes up. She attached it to a plastic bag, put plastic bag over her head. She said goodbye to her cat. I hope you live a long life. And then she said goodbye to the world. Thank you for everything. Bye-bye, end quote. That's what she said. And then she gassed herself to death. The guy who left 300 hateful messages telling her to kill herself. Now, there were others too. There were 600 accounts. I mean, he
was a third of them.
Yeah, he was a third of them. That's fucked up. So he would tell her to kill herself. She'd block it. He'd create another account. Hey, have you not killed yourself yet? She'd block it. He did this 200 times. That's like a lot of verifications you got to go through on Twitter too, because they require phone numbers.
That is serious effort to victimize someone.
It's not my fault that you're obsessed with.
You know what I'm saying? That is a lot of effort because I know on Twitter you have to do.
Did you need to back in 2020, you think?
Oh, I don't know. But I think you have to do phone verifications or whatever. But anyway, he was sued by the Japanese government and the total fine was $81, which is about 10,000 yen.
I feel like we need to end this episode with a PSA, which
I just ruined the day.
It's going to be a great day. I think everyone, you see it everywhere. And I think oftentimes and I say like it's a proverbial we or you, like you don't even realize if you yourself might be like a little bit of a troll on the internet. Cause people are just like, it's casual to like dismiss someone or be like, oh, well, that person's an idiot, and to do it in a way that you don't think it's going to matter. But you know what? Words do hurt. I know there's that expression, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words can never hurt me. Well, clearly they fucking can. They can hurt. And I would honestly, y'all, I know you've heard us say it before. I really would recommend watch that documentary on Netflix about social media, get yourself off that shit and get off of the public validation train and be the one who can validate yourself. People really want to, I know it's great to get in touch with people and that's it, but you know what? There's still email, there's text message, there's WhatsApp if you have international friends and family. There's other ways that people can get in touch with you beyond social media. Don't let that be the reason to keep it, because I tell you, you will save hours out of your week from that refresh and checking and scrolling and looking to see, oh, did I get something new? Is there a new notification? Did someone like something of mine? It feels really good to not have to worry about that and not be stressed about that. So I don't know. That's my life advice, because you're the only person that can validate your own self-worth.
All right. Well, that's all I got. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I know that was kind of short, but honestly, I didn't really want to do too much on my birthday. So I'm kind of a diva. But anyway.
Not you.
Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy that. Until next time, good night, you lovely, lovely people.